What's up, Ted?
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you today, man?
Yeah, same old living in the pandemic world.
Yeah, nearing the end of that bullshit, right?
I hope. We all hope.
Yes, yes. Well, right here, right now, we have Ted Aguilar of Death Angel joining us on I Ask No One. Rock and roll, man. And congratulations to you, dude. If I did my math correctly, 20 years this year in Death Angel. 20 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. August 11th will be 20 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And cheers to the next 20, right?
Yeah. Hope.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ted here is also the host of a podcast called Alive and Streaming, which we'll get into here soon. But top of every episode, man, and I like what you're doing there. Top of every episode, I like to start with the musical fact of the day. Today being May the 20th. Foo Fighters, their second record, The Color and the Shape, that came out in 1997 on May the 20th today. And they have their brand new record out, Medicine at Midnight, which to me is 9 tracks of just a really fun listen. Have you heard that yet, Ted?
My wife has it on shuffle, the whole discography. And I totally forgot how good those guys are, man. Because, during that, they get lumped up with a lot of stuff, Foo Fighters. But when you go back and listen to it, man, I mean, Dave Grohl is a good songwriter.
Yes,
by far.
He is.
And I saw that tour, The Color and the Shape, in Oakland. It was The Color and the Shape, and it was a band called Talk Show. 3 guys from Stone Temple Pilots without Scott Weiland.
Was it Scott Weiland or was it Richard Patrick of Filter?
I don't know who was singing, but I know it was 3 guys from Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
And a singer. So, and Foo Fighters put on a good show. So I've been, my wife has the whole discography on shuffle right now, and the new album came on, and I think it's really good, man. I have to delve into it a little more.
Yeah, it's something totally new. Totally support what you think there of Foo Fighters. It was Army of Anyone with Richard Patrick, and I forget the name of the band, the name of the singer for Talk Show. So I'll fact check that, and you can just look below on the errors and omissions here. So that next year, the Godzilla soundtrack came out, and on that record, actually, as a fun fact, was a song called A320 by Foo Fighters. Just a cool one-off, a fun one-off. So maybe you could introduce that one to your wife if she hasn't heard that one before.
I will. And here's a little factoid. With a little connection to Foo Fighters, our album Killing Season was recorded at 606.
Really?
Yeah. And Nick Raskulinecz produced it, which he produced, I think, oh man, I forgot what Foo Fighters album he produced, but it was really cool to record in Dave Grohl's studio.
Awesome. Yeah, Dave Grohl, hero of mine as far as the drums go, big time, just the way of hitting the crash, et cetera, et cetera. But real quick though, that color was spelled COLOUR, like, Pink Floyd did on Any Color You'd Like off Dark Side of the Moon, the COLOUR. They did that because their producer, Jill Norton, was British. And
okay.
Yeah, Jill Norton went on to produce their the Pretender record, which was Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace 10 years later in 2007. So there you go. Foo Fighters, check out the new record. I'll include a link below to that record. It's really a quick 9 tracks. Check it out. But birthday today, Cher. Cher turned 75 today. I never knew she was Armenian. Her last name is Sarkissian.
Wow.
And she also has the quote of the day, Ted, before we dive into our segment. And that quote is, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter. So amen to that. But right here, right now, Ted Aguilar, fucking Death Angel, et cetera, et cetera. I want to learn more about you and what you're doing with your podcast, dude.
Before you do that, how's your appendix?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for asking. I actually just took my hospital wristband off 2 minutes ago. And yeah, for my viewers and for yourself, man, 11 years ago, my twin brother, who lives in Athens, Greece, we saw Alice in Chains at Glens Falls, and he had split his appendix. Ooh. And he let it sit a little too long. So that entire summer, he was on IV in the family, in our parents' family room. And I was starting to think, okay, maybe it's my time, because about 2 weeks ago, I actually started to try something new, which was intermittent fasting. If you've ever heard of that, is
I
basically,
heard of it.
yeah, I just did not eat for 16 hours straight, and then the 8 hours I would eat smaller meals, and I just went right into it, and I tried it for about a week and a half. Started to get some pain in my lower right. I just started to eat normal again. It just got worse and worse and worse. But I'm in a little pain now. I think intermittent fasting is not for me. There's other ways to kind of get in shape. And for you, dude, at your age, you're in phenomenal shape. It looks,
Thanks.
you know, what do you eat to stay in shape, man? Do you have a diet or a workout regimen?
You know, my workout regimen, you know, I'm in and out of it. You know, there's times where I'll do months of it, and there's times where I won't do months of it. But I'm fortunate enough. My wife's a good cook, so she cooks a lot of healthy stuff. So, and I don't do alcohol and whatnot. So, you
Mm.
know, there's a balance of, you know, sometimes I cheat and go get a burrito, or, you know, every now and then. Most of the time, I'm like at home eating a salad or something nice and organic.
Yeah, yeah. Diet is huge, man.
Very huge, very huge.
It is. You've had some pretty awesome guests, man, on your podcast, which you began last year. It looks like it's called Alive and Streaming, kind of a play, I would assume, on your track off your latest record, Humanicide, with Death Angel, a track called Alive and Screaming. But
Good
Alive,
catch. Good catch.
yeah, that's I did a little homework there. But
Good
man,
man.
you've had Andreas Kisser from Sepultura. You've had Sean Killian from Violence, fucking Chuck Billy, Testament, Joey Vera of Armored Saints. And I want to get to Steffan Chirazi in just a sec. But
Okay.
your podcast, why did you start it? And what are your goals in having your own podcast, Ted?
I started right at the beginning of the pandemic because there was really nothing to do, you know, and, you know, everyone being locked up at home, being on the computer. I just thought it'd be nice to just, you know, get a chat with these people, just have a normal conversation. And a lot of it's like I have these conversations with people on the road when we toured with them. And I said, man, it would be kind of cool to kind of have a fan see this type of conversation, but I wanted to attack it differently than most podcasts, because I know there's podcasts out there like, you know, and they're great podcasts. Zetro from Exodus has one called Zetro's Vault, and Ralph Flynn has one called No Fucking Regrets. And, you know, they do their thing. They touch upon, like, you know, they go back in the history. How did it start? Where did you start? And that's cool and all, but I wanted to kind of get into something else that most journalists don't ask. And a lot of that came from uh, Steffan Chirazi, because I'm a big fan of his, especially on the So What magazines, and how he attacks interviewing one of the biggest heavy metal bands in the world. And the way he asks questions is not what normal journalists does. You know, he knows how to bring um, he knows how to bring the person from behind the art in front. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely do.
Yeah. So he was a big influence. And also another one too would be Joe Rogan. I like some of the stuff that he attacks. So I just kind of get ideas from all these people and just funnel it through me, and then it just comes out. And, you know, there's times where I do like to fanboy out, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm grateful and fortunate to be peers with a lot of these people. But first and foremost, I was a fan, you know, like you brought up Sean from Violence, man. I saw him, and what first time I saw him was with Death Angel in '87, and I was in the pit. I was slamming. I bought the demos, I bought the records, I went to all the shows. So, you know, I'm a fan. So when I interviewed Sean, and I had Phil Demmel too, you know, I kind of go at it like, hey man, my favorite song is this, and I like how you go do this. I break it down, you know. So it's basically a fanboy living out his dream.
I love seeing that too. You know, you put James Hetfield in a picture with Rob Halford and Lemmy Kilmister. You know, it's just like, oh my God. And you could see that fanboy in him. And like with you, yeah, I really do like your approach on how
Thank
you,
you.
you know, you connect with your with your friends and your peers, but you know, you talk about like Joe Rogan you brought up, number one influence for me, why I started this podcast in last year's quarantine. I got all these souvenirs. I have all these stories I wanted to share. And all of a sudden I have Michael Kelly Smith from Britney Fox and Cinderella on. And we're
shit.
Now. Yeah. Like Randy Blythe. He's a bud. You know, Ryan and I are the twins up front. And he came on for almost 2 hours, man. And we talked about the hospitality industry for like a half hour. And Joe Rogan, dude, he spoke with James Hetfield. You know,
that was a great interview.
Yeah, and they got for 30 minutes or something about James curing honey with bees in his Colorado home. Like that's just really cool. And I like to do that myself. So you bring up Joe Rogan and you bring up Steffan Chirazi, man. I've seen Metallica 38 times around the world. This September is going to be 39 and 40 at Louder Than Life in Kentucky. I'll be right up there front. If I have to get in line 3 a.m., 12 a.m., I will. And it's all worth it. But Steffan Chirazi, I've been reading for years with the So What magazine and completely support what you just said there. Actually, no one I've spoken to outside of the whole Metallica world has spoken about Steffan Chirazi like that. And he's a guest I'd like to have on maybe someday. So that's a really cool episode that you had with him. And I'll include a link below to that episode as well.
Well, maybe, maybe I'll give him a text later today when you post this interview. I'll share it with him.
Thanks, man. I would be honored, and thank you so much. Yeah, that'd be great.
He is my favorite journalist. I remember reading his stuff in Kerrang, older stuff. And when the Bay Area, back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a magazine called BAM, Bay Area Magazine, and he did a column called Raw Power, and he do a spot on local bands, which is awesome. Then when he did So What, man, So What magazines are just amazing because Metallica is my favorite band, and having to be in the fan club and see these magazines, I have a whole stack. I'll tell you a story about it. We have a live stream coming up, Death Angel, May 29th.
Yes.
And if you go to our website, deathangel.us, all the info's there.
Great American Music Hall, 3 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be there.
Thank you. And we invested a lot of time and resources into this event. It's going to be cool. And this whole thing is going to be, our stream is, we're playing a lot of deep cuts and bastard tracks, songs that we don't play live, or we haven't played live, or we never thought of playing live. And we're kind of taking a different approach to live stream. We're going to do the show, but there's going to be interviews with each band member talking about the songs, that we played, and maybe some stories behind the songs. And it was actually Steffan Chirazi that interviewed us for that one. Right
on, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect guy to have do that.
Exactly.
It's how appropriate. It's just the connection that Death Angel has, being a Bay Area band with the Metallica. Where are you checking in from? San Jose or Oakland, or where are you at right now?
I'm actually in Hayward. I'm in the middle of San Jose and San Francisco. I'm like not that far from Oakland.
Okay. Yeah, beautiful Buffalo, New York here. It's like 80 degrees outside, and I want to get to that time in 2011 when I saw you guys with Anthrax and Testament here soon.
I do remember that show, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Somewhat of it.
A little bit. All right. Well, again, Ted Aguilar, Death Angel rhythm guitarist. I've described to my family up until even today, and even some of my clients in real estate, Ted Aguilar, thrash titan. Man, you are, when I think of you, dude, when I see you right now, and you got the Headbangers Ball shirt, fucking guitar, man. I mean, just fucking guitar. I'm curious to know, whose posters were up on your wall when you were starting up, and I don't know too much about your past, so real quick, I just was wondering, where are you from, NorCal, and why the guitar?
Born and raised in San Francisco, 1972. I grew up there. I was very fortunate to discover heavy metal at a young age, or rock and roll. I had an older brother who was into like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Journey, you know, the stuff that's really popular on the radio. You know, he listened to Kiss. So I just remember his vinyl records and whatnot. And I listened to them, and he had older friends that, you know, I'd tag along, and they were into the same music. But I discovered all the underground heavy stuff from friends around the neighborhood, and that's when it was all over. When you discover, like, I remember getting Kill 'Em All when it came out, 83, and getting all the demos at this place called the Record Vault in San Francisco, where, you know, you probably heard that's where they sell all the imports, and all the Bay Area thrash bands who are just, you know, starting to come up sold all their demo tapes at that record store. So I used to frequent that record store a lot to get my merch, vinyl, and all the cool bootlegs and cassettes. So I was very fortunate enough to grow up in the San Francisco Bay Area when thrash was starting and thriving. The 80s was a good time, man. 80s was a good time. Why the guitar? It seemed fun, you know. Again, a lot of it came from my older brother. He started off with bass and he switched to guitar, and I just picked it up and started strumming along, started learning some songs, and, you know, joined my first band when I was 15, which is with Will Carroll, who is the drummer of Death Angel now.
Ah, and what was the name of that band, Ted?
I would like not to say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But, you know, it was a band called Armament. It was, you know, we were in high school. I joined his band. It was, it was fun. Put it that way. It was fun. It was a good stepping stone.
Did you see Metallica live back at the Stone and those early ass shows before?
I was unfortunate not to. I was a bit too young. My first time seeing them was on the Master of Puppets tour when they were touring with Ozzy for the Ultimate Sin tour.
Oh, cool. How was that, man? Were you in the pit there, or?
No, dude, it was like my first huge concert. So it was so new to me. You know, in the Cow Palace, it's like the floor, they had seats. I was in the seats. I just wanted to focus on Metallica. I remember a lot of people left as soon as they were done playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was amazing. Ozzy was good. You know, Ultimate Sin with Jakey Lee, but, you know, Metallica just destroyed that night. Destroyed.
And when you say destroyed, was it just Cliff stage right, just banging away? What were some moments maybe at the Cow Palace hometown show that
just you know, seeing them at the Cow Palace, because it's a known place here. A lot of bands play. You know, it's kind of like in their backyard, their stadium, their arena, somewhat. And the pit was crazy, the crowd was rowdy, and the set list was awesome. You know, you could just feel that energy, that they brought the energy. As soon as Ozzy came, it's like, I got bored. But he was still good. But, you know, it was hard to a band to come on after Metallica on the Master of Puppets tour. That's a hard thing to follow up to.
Dude, there's a DVD out there. I'm sure you've seen it, called Cliff 'Em All. Fellow diehard Metallica fan right here, right now, Ted Aguilar. I think that's so cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to include a link below to their performance of, I think it was Creeping Death from that tour with the crosses back there. Absolutely killer. And you bring up Led Zeppelin. This is the second time I'm bringing this guitar onto this very camera here, and I asked no one. But this guitar was signed by Page and Plant.
Oh, nice.
And I'm a drummer. I don't know what kind of guitar this is, but it's got the, you know, the authenticity there. And yeah, but this is kind of a hush hush item in this family room, and I want to show this to you.
Oh, cool, man. Hey, you better keep it.
Yeah. I got the one back there, signed by Static X, London, Ontario, a few summers back.
Okay.
That was a cool flying V. That what a fun show that was.
Tony Campos is a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know Tony for a while.
Future guest on IANO, and in fact, him and oh my God, why am I blanking? Dino Cazares from Fear Factory. They're going to be
also a good friend.
All right.
I know those. I had Dino on my podcast like a few months ago.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen that one yet. All right.
Yeah.
When I'm doing homework, I'm going to take a look at what you asked him and make sure I don't ask him those same questions.
There you go. I fanboy out because there's a little a factoid. I first met Dino in 1993 I went on tour with Dino as his guitar tech. It was Obituary and Fear Factory. The end cycle of the Incomplete for Obituary, and they were touring on Soul of a New Machine.
95, 6 area.
93.
93.
Spring of 93.
Oh, badass, man.
Yeah.
All right. And 2004 rolls around, Ted, and you join, what was it, 2004 or 2001? You joined Death Angel. Hmm. And then the 2004 was your first record with them, right? It was called The Art of Dying.
Correct.
How was that experience jumping into Death Angel and a tour?
You know, during the time of joining Death Angel, it was a great experience, even till this day. I mean, you know, legendary Bay Area thrash band, you know, they helped pioneer the genre. And, you know, joining that band, I got, you know, and I've seen them. I've been a fan since the 80s too. And it was really cool for The Art of Dying to see how these guys reconnected after so many years and try to be Death Angel again, to write a record together after being on hiatus for about 11 years. And, you know, it was cool. I mean, and going into the recording studio, we actually had, who produced the record was Brian Dobbs, who was Bob Rock's engineer on the Load albums. He produced the record. So it was really cool to be in a professional recording studio doing a record and just seeing how everything was put together. It was my first experience on that scale. You know, I've done demos where demos are like, okay, you're in and out, blah, blah, blah. But for The Art of Dying, I just remember long days, tedious repeats, and it just made me realize, oh, this is how you make a record. You know. So, and that when that came out, we did some touring, and you know, festivals and headliners and whatnot. So having to tour behind a record was also a new experience on how things work. But at the end of the day, it's before I did this interview, before I jumped on, you know, last week I did listen to The Art of Dying, and that, you know, brings me back to a good time. I think it's a great record, but I think the band has progressed so much since then. But, you know, I have fond memories of that record, and it has a special place in my heart.
I'm sure you do. These records that you've released over the past, 20 some odd years, I think has been Death Angel's best work since you joined the band. Killer album artworks. They're some of the coolest there. Shit. I mean, for a beginner with Death Angel, which record would you recommend, or batch of songs to start with?
Wow. I mean, if you're gonna ask me, I guess the latest Humanicide and Go Backwards is what I do. I mean, at least check out the Ultraviolence for starters. That's, if you want to know. I mean, I'd say go start Humanicide and go back, but if you want a really good history, start with the Ultraviolence and go to Humanicide. I mean, it all depends. I'm just being biased because I'm in the band, and I think Humanicide is a great record, but it all starts with the Ultraviolence, and you get to see the progression. Ultraviolence, Frolic to the Park, Act 3. You get to see how the band progressed. So when you get to Humanicide, you'll totally get it.
Love the use of the wolf.
Right on.
If this looks familiar, man, this is Hetfield's ring used in the Ice Pure music video. Not the actual one, but
replica.
Replica. He wore it around his neck in the early 90s and shit. And love the use of the wolves in your album artwork. Is it cool. Your idea, or is that Mark's?
But it started with Relentless Retribution. We found this artist, Brent Elliott White, out of New York, and we needed someone to do the record. And I believe we got a hold of him, and we gave him the lyrics, I believe, we were recording that record, and he hasn't heard the music, but I think Rob and Mark sent him the lyrics, and the album for Relentless Retribution was based on the lyrics that was sent to him.
Okay.
So from there on, when we saw Wolfie, we go, oh, that's kind of like our Vic Rattlehead, our Eddie, you know what I mean?
Yeah, love it.
So we just call him Wolfie. That's his name, really? Wolfie. Yeah.
Sweet. The Art of Dying, though, the title of that record, man, I'm a diehard Gojira fan. Seen those guys all around the world, Australia, Vancouver, and so on. They're my pals, really. Their tour manager is a diehard Bills fan. We've gone to a few games. Taylor Bingley, previous guest. Have you heard the new Gojira record?
I haven't, but I've been hearing from mutual friends that it's incredible.
Yeah.
I have yet to pick it up. It's it's good. I see it on socials because I'm friends with people. Of course, word of mouth is a good thing. I just keep seeing posts about Gojira's new one. It's sick. Got to check it out. But I just haven't had the time to do it yet. But I will because of all the rave reviews I keep hearing from people.
Yeah, goosebumps on my cheeks just hearing some of these songs, just how big they are. And for such a heavy record and melodic record, it went to #1 in the US. It's just wild. It kind of reminded me of, Pantera in '95 going #1 with Far Beyond Driven, and then Slipknot with the #1 records. And great record. Check out Amazonia, the track Amazonia, and a song called Grind, which closes out the record. I'll text you or I'll email you some of those.
Okay.
Those tracks.
I'm gonna have to check it out this whole weekend then. Thanks for the referral.
Fuck yeah, man. When I think of you, though, man, right at the top of the very list, I think of the Fillmore in 2011, Metallica's 30th anniversary. Dude,
Were you there?
Dude, I was front and center every night. And I have some things I want to show you, but I get asked a lot, what's your favorite record or what's your favorite concert of all time? And man, I'll quote Lars from 2016 when he was on Jericho's podcast, the greatest fucking week of my life. And that was 4 dates over the course of 1 week to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Metallica forming in San Francisco at the Fillmore. And man, I was in line. Us fans, we called it the Fillmore flu because all of us got in December sick after that week. We're in line 15 hours before doors. And night 4 rolls around and Death Angel's playing. I found out that you guys were playing your opening for Metallica that 4th night. And I go up there, and in my will call ticket is, hey, Kevin, we want you to come up on stage and participate in a Name That Riff competition. So I was up on stage with Vladimir from Moscow and Robert from Quebec City, Jim Brewer hosting, and I actually ended up winning that. Damage Incorporated was the fucking toaster winning.
Oh, nice.
And this is right by Ashlyn and I's bed, man. I wake up, I dust this shit weekly. Metallica had signed it already. I think it was Kirk's handwriting. Put your fingers in here, kids. But this is kind of a artifact. This is my #1 holy grail, man. And this is a toaster. It has not been used. And if I wanted to use it, it burns the Metallica M in the toast. Which, if anyone uses it, I'll know it was used. But I had Jason sign it in 2016 when we were in Mill Valley for his solo shows, Mill Valley and Santa Cruz, and I got to really bro out with Jason. And while we're talking about Jason, I was going through a little tough time at the time. I was diagnosed with depression, and everyone's got their struggles, but I think I'm definitely out of the woods since then. And I asked Jason at the time, "What's your key to happiness?" And he, without flinching, said, "Repel." Repel, and he went letter by letter: read, eat, play, exercise, laugh, love. And that's actually my license plate out there in my BMW, Repel. And I could talk forever about this toaster. I see this toaster, I think of Death Angel playing that night.
Right on.
Ted, how was that night? How was performing? How the week? Did you see some of those shows?
No, I only caught the show that we played at, but I heard all the other shows were awesome. But I remember that night. I mean, we loaded in. They told us, we heard from their camp, all right, Death Angel, you could load in at 2. And when we loaded in, I remember those guys were on stage sound checking with Dave Mustaine. So I got to watch the sound check as our crew was loading in, like them going through the Kill 'Em All stuff with Dave Mustaine. So that was really good. That was awesome. Then when that was done, then Ozzy and Geezer Butler got up and, did some sound check songs with them. So just watching that whole thing was was amazing. And the show itself was awesome. I mean, playing to the Metallica fan club and playing, them asking us to play to celebrate their 30th was it was an honor, man. It was a great night.
Yeah.
Memorable night.
While on the toaster, I passed by David Frick of Rolling Stone, saw some of the Green Day guys, Chris Jericho. I rubbed shoulders with James's wife, and there were some of the other guys there, Ron McGovney. But I had to make my way through the crowd back up to the front to meet up with my twin brother, and that was during your set. And I remember looking up, and Asagita, Mark, lead singer, had dreads, and he was doing his headbang thing with these dreads, man. And and I pissed off some people. I remember getting back up there, but I got back up there, and man, I'm going to show you one last souvenir from that show, and this one is James's right hand from night 4. You talk about Mustaine and Ozzy and Geezer, and from that 4th night, Mark was up there singing "Seek and Destroy." Were you up there playing "Seek and Destroy" with him?
No. And I'll you know what? For some reason, I didn't see that. I was either outside doing something, but I saw photos of Mark singing "Seek and Destroy" with them. That was great. Yeah,
it was just such a celebratory week, and James gave me his right hand, and my twin brother got his left hand.
Oh, and, nice.
I don't touch this too often, so I'm going to put this back in my special black bag here. But are you tight with any of the guys? I know Kirk was Mark his best man at Kirk's wedding.
I believe so. I know that they're good friends. They've been good friends since Kirk produced their demo in 1985, the Killers One demo, and they've been friends since. So they keep in touch and they hang out when they can. So Mark's really good friends with them. As for me, I met them all except Lars. But when I do see him on occasions, it's just hi, how you doing? Quick chat. That's it. Nothing tight,
Okay. All right. Awesome, man. And then 2011, a few months before that at the Fillmore, you played Buffalo, New York, Town Ballroom with just a thrash soiree of some of the biggest, baddest motherfuckers, yourself included. Death Angel, Anthrax. It wasn't Exodus. It was Testament.
Yep.
And, how was that tour, man?
It was a good tour. We played packed houses across the U.S. There was 3 legs of that tour. Did really well. I mean, come on. It was Anthrax, Testament, Exodus. You got 3 thrash bands right there. But that Buffalo show, I remember the show being killer. I think it was, for some reason, the stage was kind of like
trapezoid.
Round. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It was like somewhat round. But I remember when I woke up, I remember everyone was asleep and I wanted something to do. I rented a car and went to Niagara Falls.
Got to do it.
Yeah, I was there this was pre-Uber, by the way.
Yeah,
so I went to, there was a car rental place up the street, rented a car for the day, just drove around, checked it out and came back and did the show.
What do you think? Did it meet your expectations?
I wanted to go to the Canadian side, but I didn't want to chance it. Okay. If I cross over there, I got to go to the show and something gets held, I just didn't want to chance. I saw it. And I heard from that view is a lot better, but maybe next time.
Right. You made it up there. Nice. And if ever you come back to Buffalo, man, you're looking at the Anthony Bourdain, if you will, of Buffalo, New York. Know all the good spots, the restaurants. I think it's one of the most underrated food towns in the world, Buffalo, New York. So look forward to see you on tour back here again, my man.
I hope so, man. We haven't been to Buffalo in a while, and I'm looking forward to just getting back out on the road in any city and play in any venue at this point.
Right. Well, you have the live stream coming up. Again, that's Saturday, May the 29th, 3 p.m. Pacific time, playing the Great American Music Hall there in SF. There's a website. I'm sure you go to Death Angel website, pick up a ticket as I'm going to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Any tour plans, new record plans coming up here in 21, 22?
As of 2021, I know it seems like in the US, things are slowly opening up. Yeah. But as far as tours, we have nothing planned at the moment. It's kind of hard to plan, Some states are opening. Some states are slowly opening up. Some states are just wide open. We don't know what the restrictions are in every state. So that's why we have our booking agent looking into that stuff, because they're in touch with venues. But as of touring for this year, I'm not sure. It's, we won't know. Who knows? I may know next week. We may know in a month. But as of right now, there's no touring plans. And same thing with next year. You know, we're supposed to go to. I know Europe is shut down. I think for now, all the shows, but as of now, they're talking about full touring sometime in 2022. But you know, that's just all hearsay. But we shall see. I mean, everyone's itching to go out and tour, and I'm sure everyone's itching to go see some live music. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And as far as new album goes,
yeah,
we're writing. We're writing. You know, we're gonna continue writing now that we're done with some stuff. We're gonna start continuing the writing, and hopefully, you know, the plan is to probably try to get a record out by spring of next year. So that's the plan.
Yeah, get Wolfie back on one of those records and just create.
Oh yeah,
that's metal, man.
We'll try. You know.
Are you vaccinated, Ted?
Not yet. Plan to. You know.
Yeah, I've just had mine April 27th, and yeah, I just look at that as my ticket to go see shows again. And
yeah.
As I'm sure you'll that'll be yours to maybe tour again.
Yeah.
But this past year, what have you kind of filled your time with besides starting a live and streaming badass podcast with all these guests, and what other hobbies do you have besides being the thrash metal titan that you are?
Yeah. You know, I know when the pandemic first started, yeah, as you know, I started my stream, live and streaming, and you know how everyone was doing quarantine jams. I'm sure you saw that. You know, Mark Osageda did two jams with Charlie Benante, which Charlie Benante released his album Silver Linings. It's the covers quarantine album that he's done the whole year.
Yes.
Mark sang on a U2 song and a Mother Love Bone song, which is on Charlie's album.
Crown of Thorns, was that? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll include a link below to that. Killer. Yeah. Love that.
And and I did 2 quarantine jams. One of them was we did Mandatory Suicide. I did it with Danko Jones and Daniel Decay. I'm sure you know who they are. Daniel Decay from the Exciter. And the first quarantine jam I did was with Carlos Cruz from Warbringer, Alex Lee from Holy Grail, and Herman, who plays in a band here called Molten and Hellfire. We did Orion.
Saw that. Yeah.
Wow. That was fun. So, but you know, other than that, just doing my stream, just trying to, you know, play more guitar and be at home, hang out with my dog and wife, and you know, just enjoying being home. But now it's time to go back out. If you know what I mean.
I bet. Yeah. What's your wife's name and your pet dogs?
My wife's name is Trisha, and I have one dog, Espen.
Espen.
Yeah.
What kind of dog's Espen?
Yellow Labrador.
Ah, cute.
Yeah.
And how old is Espen?
6.
6. All right. I was just at my parents and our Havanese. She's 10 years old. She's starting to act a little peculiar.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, I don't know. Yeah, I just was hanging out with Chloe, and I have to ask you though, what's Metallica though? Metallica. Are you Ride the Lightning guy? What's your go-to songs by Metallica?
Go-to albums, Master of Puppets, hands down the best metal record of all time. You know,
yes,
that's me from start to finish. It's got a variety of stuff. There's fast, there's mid-tempo, there's slow, there's instrumental, there's, if you know, lack of a better term, ballad. You know, they have it all in there. Great songwriting, great arrangements, you know, great lyrics. It's a masterpiece. You know, some say it's, you know, Ride the Lightning, but I think, you know, Ride the Lightning, they're head to head, but I think Master of Puppets is the one that kind of helped propel them to that plateau. Then the Black Album just shot them through the universe.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. So. Master of Puppets turns 35 this year, and then the Black Album turns 30. Fucking Black Album. I'm sad but true. I cracked my first cymbal to that outro.
Oh, nice. That's a great album, man. It's a great album. Good songwriting, you know.
Yes, it is. And this my podcast, I Ask No One, is a lyric from Wherever I May Roam. It's also my first tattoo right there. I Ask No One. St.
Nice.
Did you see the performance, Ted, of Battery from last year that Metallica did for, I think it was Stephen Colbert? They actually found a few years ago the backdrop of when you saw Metallica for the first time, that backdrop that they had there with those crosses, the puppets, that was recovered like in 2013 or 2014, and they played Battery in front of it. Maybe with some GOJIRA tracks, I'll email you that performance because I mean, they just brought it like that. And with that backdrop back there, it just looked like kind of out of a dream there, performing these old guys that used to be those little guys in front of that banner. Now,
I saw that performance on Colbert. It was great. They played great.
yes,
They played great.
That was awesome. All right, man. But I just want to thank you, dude, for coming on. It's just, this is kind of pinched me, just continue to have these really cool guests. And my little brother, Leonard, he used to work at Robert Sinsky Vineyards up in Napa.
Oh, nice.
And Mark is a VIP member there, your lead singer. And
okay.
Mark had a great time there a few times, so much so that he actually ended up crashing on Len's bed once.
I'll bring it up to him next time I see him.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're looking forward to that live stream Saturday the 29th. And man, metal up your ass always. And
all right, man.
We'll be out there. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Yeah. And as always, I like to share with my guests, stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry, stay heavy. And next week and the week after that, I've got Frankie with Rockabilia, and I have Mark with Suicide Silence coming on. So it's going to be a good time.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
See you, brother. Thank you.
All right, man.
Peace.